Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope you're doing wonderful in this moment in time. And by the way, happy Memorial Day to those of you who celebrated. I'm not really one of them, but hey. I hope that whenever and wherever you are, wherever you happen to be, in this earthly matrix, that you are not worried about your divine counterpart relationship. Now, I'm talking to twin flames. We'll get into if you're not a twin flame in a second, but right now, I want to focus on that for just a second because it's been brought to my attention over the past, a long time since I've been with you guys. Over the last week, it's been brought to my attention that the divine masculines, at least in readings that people have been putting out there, they have been really worried. They've been worried about, trying to put their best foot forward, not sure if their counterpart will actually accept them, if their divine feminine will actually find them exciting and wonderful, or if they would find them boring, and if they would just feel like, wow, the hype for this divine twin flame relationship was so hyped up, and now I met my twin, and what the flock, it's just a normal relationship. This person's actually it's a little, not really, not that exciting. It's a little boring. And the divine feminines are kind of like, well, I guess he's never going to get here, so whatever. I'm moving on. I'm doing my own thing. I'm kind of living my own life and just hoping it happens, but, starting in on the list of plan Bs. So that's pretty much all I've seen for the past week to 2 weeks as far as the divine masculine, divine feminine, divine counterpart or twin flame relationships. And so I'm here to tell you that you could be with a really intellectual, amazing thinker person, or someone who's talented and they want to entertain you all the time. But if it's not the right one, that's going to be boring. That will be the excruciating one, because that other person who's not meant for you will try as they might, and they're not going to do it for you. They could be hot in the sack, they could be hot in their body, they could be just incredible money earner, they could be like whatever it is, whatever it is that is their thing, the best violin player, or whatever. But if they're not the one, you're not going to be 100% in it, So, but if the right person is sharing the same energy and the same level and the same heart, that person's going to be the one, no matter if they're playing tiddlywinks with you, if they're, just putting on a sweatshirt, whatever they're doing, they could do no wrong because they're your right person. You're Mr. Right. You're Mrs. Right. Whatever. Ms. Right. Like that person who is the one, there's never going to be a boring moment. It's going to be 100%, it clicks. It all clicks. Like, you could watch somebody put on a sweater if you're in love with them. And it sounds like the most boring thing in the world, put on a sweater, whatever. But if you're an empath and you feel that they're cold and you watch them put on a sweater and you sense and feel in your body their emotional satisfaction in that minuscule moment, that brings you a great deal of joy. It's kind of weird, but it's the truth. I've been with a lot of wrong ones, and I've been with a right one. And he was just a soulmate. And every time he was, even for just momentarily happy, even just for that minuscule, almost imperceptible second, I felt it. And I was like, yeah, good. Like, if he was in pain and he sat down on the couch and he put a pillow just right in that moment of relief in his back, it would make me relax. I would just feel, and it wasn't boring. Now, if I didn't love him and he's constantly complaining about his back, I might have ended up being a jerk, God, can you shut up about that already, But after 13 years, I was still like there for him 100% because he was my right guy. He was the person I was supposed to be with, So I haven't been with my twin yet, but I feel like when he comes into my life, it doesn't matter if he's super quiet or if he's shy or really introverted or he doesn't want to interact a lot or if he's super gabby and he wants to talk all the time. Like, I feel like we're going to be okay and 100% there and engaged, and every little thing they do is just going to be magical. Another way I could put this is, if you're not a parent and you go to the park and you're hanging with your buddy, your friend, and then you see little kids playing in the park, they might be cute or whatever, but they don't really hold your attention. You'll look at them and, okay, fine, whatever. And then you go back to your friend and you keep talking to your friend, and maybe that same kid will make a noise again or throw a frisbee a little bit too close to your feet or whatever it is. And the first time you notice them, you think, they're cute. And the second time you're like, ugh, that was kind of annoying. And like after 3 or 4 times of their getting your attention one way or the other, like especially if they're screaming, you're just like, ew, can people just not control their kids already? But if it's your own child and they're screaming with delight, you're going to be like, oh my God. I'm going to try to burn that into the recesses of my mind and put that in the back of my mind, because I never want to forget the joyous moment that my child enjoyed today. I don't want to forget this. And even the most annoying behavior in your child, if you really, really love your children, which most people do, and especially if you're an empath and you're like a super sensitive person like I am, and I'm very deep with my emotions, and I just, like, even when my kids totally screw up, I mean, there's a moment my kid had when he told me he wanted to make money playing guitar, and I'm like, honey, you need to learn how to play the guitar first. He said, no, forget it, I'll figure that out when I get there. I just need like my tin cup and my cute outfit, because he knew if he looks like a cute little kid begging for money on the street, he's going to make a lot of money. And then he was going to try and take us out to eat. I'm like, but honey, you don't know how. And he was just like so mad at me. Drive me there now. And I was just like, oh my God, now he's being annoying, right? But all right. He's still adorable to me. But I took him there. He sat there with his guitar and he strummed one strum. The guitar's reverberating his whole body and sounds good, but that's all he knows. And he just went, and someone walked by him and didn't give him money, and 2 more people walked by and didn't give him any money. And he's like, okay, I'm not doing this right. Well, it's because you don't know how to play guitar. And he's like, Mom, I'm so embarrassed. Take me home right the hell now. He was like 8 years old. I'm like, oh my God, he's so adorable. Oh my God. And even though he was not like, he was just in that really awkward, embarrassing moment of, holy crap, I don't know what I'm doing. Get me the hell out of here. I'm like, yeah, let's go. It was just like, dude, no, so embarrassing. But he wasn't, he's just trying, he thought, well, I saw other people doing this, and this might be a fun way to make money for the day, and maybe I can do this every Saturday, and I'm going to build a business, and I'm going to make money, and I'm going to open up a bank account with all the money I'm going to make with all the songs I'm going to play and sing. And then he didn't know how to play or sing the song. He wasn't prepared. And he's still learning how to play guitar now. He's 17 and still learning how to play the guitar. But he learned another way to make money, and he did that. But that was his. I'm like, you're allowed to have a business if you want, right? I'm going to help you, no matter what you're doing. So even if they're doing something that's not totally like adorable, because that was not adorable. It was, but it wasn't. Like, it was one of those moments where it's just like, yeah. Really awkward, really embarrassing, and when I was a kid, my awkward, embarrassing moments were when people start to talk to me and like at a party or something, and I would dive under the table and I would hide. And my parents are like, oh my God. And then they trained me like a parrot to say funny answers to things. And I was expected to talk to strangers. And so like, people would say, where'd you get your pretty red hair from? And I'd have to say, from God. And when they say, well, where'd your mother get her pretty red hair? I'd say, well, from a bottle. It was just funny, but I mean, it wasn't me. It wasn't my thing. It was something that my parents kind of taught me to say, or my aunts taught me to say, to tease my parents, because I was adopted and looked nothing like my parents. And my mom was sick of the question, so she dyed her hair red so that we would look alike. And anyway, but even if it's your kid and the kid is awkward or embarrassing, or they just do things that just are not right, you're still so in love with them. You're just like, oh, they're so great. And that's how you're going to feel about your divine counterpart, no matter what. So if you're the counterpart that's saying, I'm a little nervous about this, like, God, I don't think they're going to like me. They're going to like you, honey. They are you. They're like your other half. Things that didn't work out with all the others, it was for a reason. It's because it's supposed to work out with that one person that you just click with. And that's just the way it's going to be. Now, if you're in a soulmate relationship, you know what I'm talking about. You could still be in love with the soulmate, right? And that's someone you feel comfortable with. Like, you meet them, you've known them for 10 minutes, and it's just like they're as comfortable as your best jeans or your cozy, fuzzy slippers. You know what I mean? It's like that cozy, comfortable feeling, and you just go, oh, I feel so good with this person. I've never felt this comfortable, this amazing, and just comfortable, like just wonderful with this person. And so you know what I mean. And if you don't have your counterpart, your twin flame is not incarnate with you now. Same thing though with your soulmate to be, the person that you will find. If you find the right person, you can never say the wrong thing to the right person, but you can never say the right thing to the wrong person. So that's always something. And I've talked about this before, but it came to my attention recently, and I thought, well, let's address it again. I just, if you're a divine masculine and you're scared to reach out because of all the issues you've got going on, you feel like that person's not going to understand, that they're not going to love you or be there for you in a way that you need, because maybe you feel ashamed or guilty about your past. You know what? Your other half of you is going to have love and compassion for you. If it's right, it's because it's the right timing, because that person is definitely right for you. And if you're the divine feminine, don't go rush out and go get another relationship real quick because you're tired of waiting already. Just hang in there, do your best. You can maybe date around, but don't start anything. For me, I've been trying to purify myself for like 3 years, not really getting into other people's energy in a romantic or emotional way or physical way, because I just want to be present. And when that person comes into my life, it's going to be amazing to have a conversation with somebody, or listen to them. And I want to see his talents. I have a feeling he does paintings. I have a feeling he's all around artistic like me. Like, I'm not musical, but I have a feeling he's musical, because I always loved listening to music, because I feel like he'll be able to do that. I have a feeling that we'll dance together and we'll laugh together and just sleep under the stars drinking wine together. I mean, I feel like that's what my life will be, and I feel like even if he has his quiet moments, I'm going to be fascinated with everything he does. I just feel like I'm going to feel that quiet comfort, and it's a sense that I get, and it's not just me, and this is you too, this is all of you, If you're single like me, just hold on, it's coming, you're going to have that life and that love that you want, if you want it, but just don't be a boring person, and people won't be bored with you, right? But just be yourself and do your thing, and the right person that comes along, they're going to understand you to a T, and everything is going to be perfect. So, anyway, we moved into a new place, and as you could tell, I'm sitting in my living room right now, my new living room, and it's absolutely gorgeous here. Like, we are blown away. Okay, number one, we're blown away at a few things. We have way the hell too many spiders in this place. So my son, not we, by we I mean my kid, has crushed a couple but rescued a lot more. And he found a dead tarantula in my bedroom. Oh my God. On the 3rd floor. How the hell did he get up there? Oh my God. But we had the landlady is the sweetest person in the world, and she decided to have, actually I told her, look, this place is filthy dirty, and we moved in, and I just don't want to move my stuff in until it's clean. And so she hired somebody who cleaned like the ceilings and the walls and the closets and cleaned the whole place in 4 hours, and it wasn't enough time. That's how big the place is. And the lady was really little, so I mean, she'd been a giant, maybe she would have gotten the whole place cleaned in 4 hours. I don't know. But anyway, we're blown away. For us, like the space we've been used to. We've been used to a 3-bedroom apartment with a dining room and a kitchen and 2 bathrooms that were kind of cramped. And now we have, if you've ever seen the show Selling Sunset, it's a bunch of women that work at an office. There's a lot of drama and gossipy BS, which I don't like. I don't like that part of the show. But I love looking at these places in the Hollywood Hills. There's a lot of cool places. Some of them are modern and way too cold for my taste. I don't like white walls everywhere and then brown beams, and that's to me isn't style. It's just boring and modern. But I like when there's white on white, but then there's soft hues of blue or even pink, mostly blue. I like blues and turquoise, but so I like watching the show because of the properties. And there's these places where people walk in and there's these massive closets, right? These are millions and millions of dollars worth of homes, right? So people walk in and like the closet, you could have a formal dining area. It's like so huge. And that's my bedroom upstairs. The 3rd floor is my space, and my son's space is the 2nd floor, and then our social space is the 1st floor. So we literally moved to a house, and it's $100 less a month than what we were paying for an apartment closer to town. We have our own patio, and we've got this massive umbrella that goes over. It says Heineken on it. It's so hilarious. Our Heineken. We're like in this gorgeous gated community townhouse with a Heineken umbrella in the back. It's so weird. But we have a barbecue. My son's been barbecuing almost every day. He's been barbecuing something, He starts a fire and just enjoys himself. He's just in his heaven. Right now he's out walking with these dogs that are half wolf, half dog. One's black, one's white, and they're brother and sister. So really strange. But these dogs, when we open the door, they just like come in, lay on the ground. Or just lay on the floor. We have we have cedar hardwood floors. I think they're cedar. They might honestly be pine with a cedar coat on them to make them look more like cedar. But inside here, it's all like one wall is brick and a couple walls are treated, and they're almost like Indian food colors. If you know about Indian food, you know what I'm talking about. There's like the tandoori chicken color wall. And then we have the butter chicken color wall. My son and I were saying that today, and we're like, I think what we're saying is we really want Indian food. But so it's like very earthy, earth tones, black granite countertops, wood cabinets, and it's just so nice. It's like, I mean, it's not the nicest place I've ever been to, but it might be maybe the nicest place, arguably the nicest place I've ever lived in. And that included my husband's house. It included my house in Detroit. My house in Detroit is really nice, but it needs to be refinished, so it's not all that, not right now. But my front yard has got tons and tons and tons of space. It's not my own personal yard. It's like belongs to the complex. And in the backyard is this windy, bendy little river, and it's just, we have the weirdest birds at night. We hear the river day and night. You can't hear it now because I've got my back door closed. It was very windy and it kept slamming shut, and it was a little bit cold out. So I'm hoping tomorrow I'll get to record outside and you guys can hear the river. And when I get more of a strong, I don't have my own internet too, by the way, guys. So it's going to be a little bit rough going. I have to only be against this one wall because I'm borrowing the neighbor's internet. And I told my son, you need to get it written on paper, the password, so we can have it on all of our devices. And he's like, no, don't, I'm just going to take it, And I thought he was going to use the notepad on my tablet. Instead, he got the password on my tablet, and that was it. I don't know the password. So I can't open up my computer to tell you guys about space weather news or whatever. I have to do it on my tablet. So it's going to be a little bit rough going. We had one guy out on Tuesday. They were getting ready to set it up. I was like signing the contract. I was so excited, like, oh my God, on Tuesday, I'm like, whoa, I told you guys I wouldn't have internet for a week, and here it is already on Tuesday. I was gonna, yes, baby. And sure enough, absolutely freaking not. There were too many trees in the way, and they had to point it at a certain thing, a tower thing on the mountain, and it didn't work. And so they took all their equipment away, and I just was like, and I was like heart sunk. And we didn't get, I think it was Wednesday before we actually got access to the neighbors. And we thought, oh my God, what if it's datos? Which means like, what does datos mean in English? It's if you're using like your cell phone to do your internet for your house. So you have to pay by the minute, basically. And we got really nervous, and finally we got up at our nerve to ask, is this in unlimited? And they're like, oh yeah, ilimitada, Sí, claro que sí, no hay problema. Like, so they're like, not a problem, it's, doesn't matter, it's unlimited, fine, okay, great. But I felt really guilty to go back a third time and go, can I get this so I could actually get on my computer too and do my work? And I'm like, so now I'm waiting for the only company that I can have here, because as a foreigner, there's only certain ones that, you could go pay cash every month for the internet, right? And this one is with the government. But because the entire country has been shut down for now over 2 months, right? Oh my God. Because we've been shut down, they said we'll come back in a month if we can actually, do the internet then, basically the country's back opened up. So we're on what is called yellow light. We're having a yellow light week. Reminds me of the blue light special at Kmart when I was a kid. But the yellow light week, I guess that means that everybody's under extreme caution. We used to have a curfew that ended at 2 in the afternoon, and my God, moving with the 2 o'clock in the afternoon curfew was absolutely insane. We had to take 2 trips to get our stuff out on Monday, and we did it, but we barely, we pulled in about 2:12 in the afternoon. It was like absolutely crazy. We're, for that last 12 minutes, we're like, oh my God, if the police catch us, you know what I mean? We might get off scot-free, or they might fine us $100 each. I didn't wear gloves. That's another fine. The guy who's driving us, that's another fine. So we were really grateful when we got here finally with all of our stuff. And I think I had mentioned to you guys about how things start disappearing in our apartment. It made no sense because there's no way. We were up on the 3rd floor. No one could get in. Like, what the hell? When the maid that was, I don't know, she helped to raise the guy who was the landlord basically when he was a baby. So she's like old and she's been around their family for a long time. But she also has a contract through him to clean our building, that old building, 2 times a week. Well, when she saw my son take his stuff out to the truck, she helped herself to our apartment. Oh my God, I was standing in the living room and the front door opened and it was her. And I'm like, oh, no, you don't. Get the hell out of my apartment. And I was like screaming at her in Spanish. And I was like, nope. And I was like firing a warning shot of bleach over her head to be like, dude, get the hell out of here. I'm gonna bleach your damn eyes. I was just like, no, we're bleaching our stuff as we're moving it because of all the mold and how bad it was. So we really, and it's just like $400 worth of stuff had gone missing in 2 years. And now I know she was the frickin' robber because she's the only one that had a key to my apartment. I know the owner was too lazy to come over to rob us, and he didn't give a crap anyway. He had a ton of money. You think he's gonna sneak in and buy and steal our we had a, what is that thing when you point it at somebody and you laser them or taser them? It's a taser. Yeah, we had a taser. He could afford a $20 taser. There's no way in hell that he would, And so someone stole our taser. They stole our black ski mask. It's making me sound really bad right now that we have this in our house. But yeah, we had something else. It wasn't a machete. We had something like that, like a weapon, like a just in case sort of weapon, like a knife had gone missing. My son, sometimes he'll collect knife, like he'll go, oh, look at this buck knife, or hey, look at this hunting knife, or he wants to go camping. He wants to be a survivalist, and he already has his tent, and he's got everything, which is why he had a ski mask. He's not a robber or something. We had a taser just in case, because, you never know if you're going to go out with your friends to clubbing and what's going to be waiting for you out on the streets when you get outside, and so he just wanted to be safe. And my friend Nikolai told me, you should probably get a taser. And he's like, they're downtown. There's a few stores that have them. And it's only $20 and you might as well be safe, and it also has a flashlight, so it's convenient. So I told my son about it. He's like, oh, that's so cool, Mom. I have to get it. Well, we never have found it. So I know that she freaking stole it, And I wanted to tell you guys over the weekend. So since the last time we were together, Friday or a week ago Friday, that next day, 2 people moved out over the weekend. And then we were like the 3rd family to leave because of all of the mold that just descended like a freaking plague on that apartment building. And she kept saying, when can I come? When can I come? And I'm like, why are you so clamoring to get into my freaking house to clean it when I've been here for 2 effing years and you didn't bother. And I was told when I moved in she was going to be my maid and she was going to clean once a week for me for free, that part was included. But she tried to blow us up. She turned on all the burners and she knew that my son was going to light up a candle or something. And she was just sitting there waiting for him to kill us all. And all of a sudden he smelled it and he was like, oh my God, and ran and had to open up all the windows, turn off all the burners, try to explain to her in Spanish, like, dude, you almost killed us. What the hell's your problem? And she just sat there with a blank look on her face, like she was just an evil little beady little rat, man. She had like little beady rat eyes. And we were just like, what the hell's wrong with this psychopath? What the hell? So, yeah, but the very second she thought that we were gone, she saw my son leaving with stuff. She got in. She literally was coming in like she owned the fucking place, trying to come into my apartment. And well, no, I literally had to push her out. I think with a broom handle, and I had a spray bottle of bleach. I'm like, get the hell out of here. No. Like, unbelievable, right? Holy crap. The place was toxic. The people were toxic. We're like, we need to get out of here. Oh my God. And then I found out that the one of the bar restaurants that my old landlord hangs out at is owned by the ex-husband of the owner where we live now. And I don't know if they know each other. They probably do. I mean, it's like not a small town by any stretch, but people do know people. And it's like the person who got us into our first apartment, not the last one, but 2 apartments ago, he's the one that helped us find this one, and I didn't know it was him until the transaction was done, because it was listed under a name called Jane. I found out he was a guy, not a woman named Jane, right? Just totally crazy. I was gonna say totally crazy. Tracy, there you go. New word. Woohoo! I'm inventing words already. It's only Monday. Anyway, I feel a million times better. I don't know if you guys could tell with my energy. I just feel super clear. I have the soon-to-be famous author Ann Hillsborough. She's been commenting. She's been listening to my show. So hi, Ann. Wanted to say hey. And she was just like, I hope you moved. I hope you're fine. And oh yeah, we're good. My son did get bit by one of the wolves. Note to self and all others: don't ever try to hold a wolf back when he's defending his territory. Ooh, yeah, my son got bit like almost all the way through his hand. And we thought at first it was a shallow enough cut where he wouldn't need stitches. By the time we recognized he needed 2 or 3 stitches, not that many, 2 or 3, it was too late, because, now he's just having to wash it all the time and hand sanitizer anyway. But the neighbors here are amazing. They're really sweet. They came over, they brought us a bunch of eggs, because they knew that I'm like, look, my bank card expired and the new one got here a month ago, and DHL had taken it back. Oh my God. And so I didn't have a bank card. So when I finally got internet again to tell my friend, hey, I need to go get my bank card, he's like, well, you don't live here. And I told them, and they took it away. And I'm like, oh my God, that's the only secure location I have to receive any mail at all. I need you to not tell them that and sign it on my behalf, please. So he did, and finally, and we went over last Wednesday and got my bank card. My son did, and for me, thank God. I told him, hey, please give it to my son, even though I'm not going to be there, because of quarantine. We're still under quarantine. But in this new place, we don't feel like it. We've got a backyard. We're kicking it in the backyard. We go outside. We went on walks. I went on walks like 3 or 4 days in a row. And then I had allergies, and everyone started bringing me panela and canela, which is basically panela is that if you've ever been to they call it the ethnic section in the United States, where it's just like a square block and it's dark brown. And if you've ever been to a place where they have it like at Food Max, and people are like And the only people that buy it are like people that don't speak English, like they're speaking Spanish, right? And I always wonder, what the hell is that? Is that tamarind, right? It always says like tamarindo, right? Which is also good. It's a root vegetable kind of, but it's very sweet. But panela, and they don't say what it is. It's actually brown sugar taken directly from the sugar cane. It's not refined at all, but it's like in a square pack. I'm telling you guys, it is the best sugar. It tastes like caramel. It's incredible. So now you know. The more you know. Imagine the rainbow, the music. Okay. But so they brought over the panela. They brought over the canela. Canela is cinnamon bark. They literally brought me cinnamon bark because I started coughing, and it was allergies to the dogs, right? To the wolves and all the mold. We moved all of our stuff into the backyard. We have a giant space that literally fits all of our stuff underneath a glass, roof, right? Literally, we have a glass ceiling. Are all the feminists out there laughing right now? I literally have a glass ceiling in my house. As if we needed the reminder, guys. But anyway... So all of our stuff, we didn't have very much stuff, but all of our stuff is just basically our Christmas lights and Christmas decorations, and all of our clothing, and my desk, my chair. My son said, no, forget it. I'm going to leave my desk and chair here. It has some mold on it. He's like, screw this crap. I'm going to leave it here. I'm like, all right. So, and I have like a little tiny stool I painted like a mushroom, a white, death cap mushroom. And, so then, what else do we have? Anyway, not much. We have it just under a tarp, camping equipment and whatnot. So we don't have a lot, but we've been all week now, we've been spraying the hell out of everything with vinegar water and bleach water, and then we'll let it dry, and then we'll spray it again, and then we'll wash it. Half of my shit's turned out like tie-dye. I had a purple shirt, which is now purple and pink, but we're just trying to get all the mold spores out. And then we hired this maid. She came to clean 4 hours, found out that there is mold here. Oh my God. And it's a different kind of mold. It's not the toxic stuff, but we're still like, man, did you guys know that bricks can grow a white mold? I did not know that was mold, dude. Not until I lived in a brick house with the exposed bricks. But they're all, they've got some kind of a varnish over them, so they're really shiny. It's actually really nice. Everything was finished pretty nice. I've got skylights in my room. They wake me up every day before 9 o'clock, and I have completely changed my life. I've changed my hours. I'm usually up by 8:30 to 9:30, in there. I think the latest morning I've had since I moved in was 10:30, like 10:39 was the latest I woke up. Not like me at all. Usually I'm up till 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning, and then I get up around 1 in the afternoon. That apparently was those were my mold hours, and I lived in a house of mold. And I was falling asleep. You guys could tell, like my last week, it was getting bad, right? I was falling asleep during my show. I was just in the middle of a sentence, sitting up, I'd fall asleep. Besides being visited and abducted, and God, so much crap going on over there. And I even thought this past week, what if I can't channel anymore? What if my telepathy is gone because I'm no longer under the mold influence? Maybe it's just a psychedelic mold. It's some kind of psychedelic South American mold that's only growing here. All these weird thoughts came to my mind, but my twin flame and I have had no problem at all telepathing. The man who killed himself in this house, he and I had some lovely conversations the beginning of last week. He is not haunting the place. He does live in heaven. He is happy. Everything is fine. He told me he killed himself. He hung himself with the cable for the cable TV. Isn't that terrible? But he did it in my room, so thank God it wasn't in my son's room. So I have to deal with that energy, but it's not that much. I don't see it or feel it. I haven't felt the pattern. It seems so far everything is okay. Like the energy in here has been pretty clear. But we did have a ghost, and it wasn't him. It was a different ghost. It was a guy who built the place. He was angry because there had been a flood here, and he was angry about it. And we could see where there had been water damage, and it's been repaired. So the ceiling isn't exactly like perfect and even. It's a little warbled in certain places, and it was water damage. But he came and he was like yelling at us. We're like, dude, we moved in here 2 days ago. But we're the first person who could hear him and complaining. So we had to banish his ass from our house. We didn't exactly exorcise him Catholic style, but we had to banish that ghost and get rid of him. And we've gotten rid of some of the patterns here. But for the most part, this place is clear and it's energetically, it's suave. It's just, it's soft. It's awesome here. We love it. We're just like, yes, finally we're here. This is, my son told me this is the kind of neighborhood, this is the kind of everything he wanted to live in his entire life. He's like, we finally figured it out. He's like, look, we've got the river, we've got the nature, we've got dogs. We open our front door and 2 dogs walk in and lay on the ground or lay on the floor. It's like we've been here forever. The neighbors are sweet. The neighbors are really cool. When they heard me coughing and I was sneezing, and it was because of the allergies of the dogs, the wolves, and they were bringing me, I swear to God, they brought me a bag of lemons, a bag of oranges, a big thing of ginger, fresh ginger. We've been making tea all week with natural, fresh, organic ingredients that the neighbors brought us. Like, can you imagine in LA? That would never happen. Oh my God. Not even in Northern California where we lived would that happen. Not even in Detroit. Well, actually in Detroit, it would happen. People in Detroit are really, really sweet. But, people stick to themselves in California and a lot of places in the States. And we were blown away. And where we were actually in the other part of town, in our old apartment, people stuck to themselves, man. They'd be, they don't mind, coming over and accusing you of stuff and yelling at you, but, and falsely saying things about you, and 5 witnesses step up because one person told them to, even though they weren't witnesses because what they're saying was false. Totally ridiculous. The only way they didn't stick to themselves is in a negative way. But here, everyone they keep to themselves for the most part. Everyone lives their own private lives, but they do talk to each other. They are very friendly. And, and that's the other thing. Oh my God, this past week, we've had people show up delivering, with a truck. And, so you could go buy your fresh fruits. We've had the people with the vegetables. Separate, 2 different days. We've had people show up with yogurt, probiotic yogurt, and dairy. We've had the meat people roll around selling chicken, and my son's like, I want ribs. I'm like, ugh, I don't want that, but okay. But people selling chicken, and then people come around selling, some woman came around selling us chocolate, but she was coughing and looked sick, and we're like, thank you. We took it in the back and we sprayed it down with bleach, and we're just going to throw it away in the next trash cycle. 2 times a week, people come and pick up our trash it's like in front of our door off to the side. There's like a little shelf, and you just put your little bag of trash on there, and they come and pick it up twice a week. It's all included in the $10 of living here, I guess. It literally costs $10 to live here as the housing fee. And then we're paying $400 a month for the whole place. And then on top of that, we have to pay bills. But even with all the extra expenses, it's still either the same or less as what we paid before, to live in the mold-infested apartment with no lights. It looked like a horror house. Not a horror house, a house of horrors. Horror. It looked like a horror house in Texas. Just kidding. No. Our old place it was like a house of horrors. Like all the lights were like making the sound of, it was like the weirdest sound. And it was just like, and they were blinking on and off, and it was, and they said that it was too expensive to fix the lights because $5 was too much. Yeah. Wow. So we didn't clean up the apartment. We didn't have a contract. You and who's contract. We did not have a legal contract. It was month to month. And we did break one door because there was weren't given a key, and my son had to bust it down. And so it was like $20. But what the medicine we had to buy. I mean, I've been taking my inhaler like twice a day, when I wake up and when I go to bed, every day here. And there I was taking it every 2 hours. So I knew it was an unhealthy place to be, and I was getting to be more unhealthy. But now, guys, I wake up, I do my exercises, I do my Himalayan 5 rights. You got to look it up on YouTube if you don't know what I'm talking about. Last year I did a show on it, and this is how you get younger. When I got here, I was looking so old. I was looking my age, dude. I was getting really scared. I looked about 46. Not really my age, but I was like, dude, now I'm starting to age. What the hell? I'm not going to allow this crap to go on. So I started doing my Himalayan 5 rights about 4 days ago. And I've already taken about maybe 5 to 10 years off my appearance, and in 2 weeks I'll go back to looking about 30 again. And I'm just going to do it every day. I'm going to wake up and do my Himalayan 5 rights, Tibetan 5 rights, yoga every day. It's literally 5 exercises. It takes like 10 minutes or 30 if you want to lay around for 10 minutes in between. I mean, which is why I did the first 2 days. And today I just whipped right through it. It was like, yeah, awesome. Now I'll build up to 20 of each of these, and then it'll take me about 30 minutes to get through the routine, but super worth it, because it reverses your age and any diseases, any problems in your body. It reverses everything. I'm already starting to look, I don't think I lost weight, but my body looks like I lost weight. Yeah, it's really awesome. So I don't know. We'll see how many months it'll take before I start my period again. It literally reverses you back to age 30. So if you're an older person like me, you might want to go get into that. It's awesome. I open up my windows and I look outside at these lush green trees, and the river, and that's my view when I'm doing the exercises. And then sometimes I'll just sit there and meditate and look outside, and it's incredible. And, telepath with my twin. Love him. God, I love him so much. Anyway, here we go. I'm gonna try to now go over to another screen on my tablet. I don't, again, have internet of my own, and I don't have it on my computer. And I've got to work. I've got to do my show for you guys because I promised I would. So here I am. I'm going to try and do it right now, so we'll see where we're at. Hold on just a minute. And hopefully this is still recording and we're working. Okay. All right. Spaceweather.com is where I'm at right now. We have been at a solar minimum with 0 sunspots for 23 days in a row now. Today, the solar wind speed is 316.9 kilometers per second. And we have had 5 fireballs. And if you want to see something cool, they have pictures on this website of the naked eye, meaning you can see it with your naked eye. Naked eye jellyfish sprites. This is like a lightning that occurs directly above a thundercloud. So it's not lightning that hits the ground that's white, it's above it and it's red, and these jellyfish sprites. It's absolutely incredible. According to Finland in Oulu, the neutron counts are very high, which means we are being bombarded right now from cosmic radiation. There is a southern facing us, facing the earth, there's a southern coronal hole in the sun that has let loose some solar wind. It's coming our way and it'll be here on the 29th. So that's about 4 days from now, about Thursday. We should be expecting a lot more of that energy of, well, it's going to shape us and change us a bit and affect our DNA with all those gamma rays, and we're going to be, well, guys, we're going to get affected by that. It does happen. It happens quite often, does it not? So, and here we go again. Now, I have some awesome news. In the Schumann Resonance, according to disclosurenews.it, we have 17 hertz frequency, so not a whole lot going on over there. So let me tell you some cool news. Now, we do have, not up to the very day, but on the 24th, hopefully we're going to get over here, Heart Math, yes, baby, Heart Math is working again. So now, earlier it said the 24th of May, and I think they're still maybe kind of working this out, but I'm going to tell you what the numbers we have. I'm only going to tell you one number for each of the cities, because the website is always complicated, but on my tablet it's like extremely complicated. So I'm gonna pause this for a minute while I fix that stupid website. Hold on. I have to toggle it with my big thumb and that teeny tiny little button. It's ridiculous. Hold on. Oh my God, you guys, this is hilarious. I paused it, and immediately these dogs, wolf dogs, came over in front of my door, and they started growling at each other, and it literally sounds like right outside my window I have wolves growling at me, right? And they were just playing, but it's hilarious. Anyway, I wish I could have caught that on the show, but all right. Okay, let's go to Schumann Resonance's Power from heartmath.org. Now, it's weird because an hour ago it had for the 24th, which was yesterday. So we're just gonna talk about Saturday, because that's all they have now suddenly up. Hopefully, by the time I'm good with my internet, they should be good with their website, right? Everything will be back to normal fast, hopefully. Okay, so I'm just going to go over one. In California at 2100 hours, that's for everyone, I'm just going to say 2100. So on Saturday, this is, California had 79 hertz frequency, and Hofu of Saudi Arabia had 5 hertz frequency. Lithuania had 0 hertz frequency. And Alberta, Canada had 199 hertz frequency. Northland, New Zealand had 77 hertz frequency. And Hululu, South Africa, had 26 hertz frequency. So that's pretty exciting. Now, I saw from a few days ago, they did have a high of 313 hertz frequency in South Africa. So like last Thursday, maybe. I was actually pretty tired on that day. So I don't know what it was here, but pretty crazy numbers. It was getting up there. And it looks like over the past week, or few weeks since we didn't have these data numbers, there's been several spikes, especially over in Africa. So when I can, I'll go over it again when I have the ability, to just at least give you the highlights. Okay, we are on lesson 298 in A Course in Miracles. You may find this on any Course in Miracles app or at acim.org. And this is the lesson. 298. I love you, Father, and I love your Son. My gratitude permits my love to be accepted without fear, and thus I am restored to my reality at last. All that intruded on my holy sight, forgiveness takes away, and I draw near the end of senseless journeys, mad careers, and artificial values. I accept instead what God establishes as mine, sure that in alone I will be saved, sure that I go through fear to meet my love. Father, I come to you today because I would not follow any way but yours. You are beside me. Certain is your way, and I am grateful for your holy gifts of certain sanctuary and escape from everything that would obscure my love for God, my Father, and his Holy Son. I love you, Father, and I love your Son. I love you, Father, and I love your Son. Now that's lesson 298. If you are interested, again, that's acim.org. I'm going to take a quick break, guys, and I am so excited to get into this lesson today because we are on lesson 4 in learning how to telepath. And I also found another book, by the way, by William Walker Atkinson on telepathy. We're going to not go over it immediately, but a few books from now, I'm going to get back into this topic because it is so popular. You guys are so excited, as am I, about being a better telepath. I'm doing pretty good, but I know there's always pointers. There's always things that I can, sense. And I might soon go over something about the ancestors. I've been starting to work with my ancestors. This is a very witchy house. 13 stairs will take you next to the first landing. 13 more stairs takes you to the second landing, which technically, all right, that's 14 stairs each, but my son pointed that out, and I was like, oh my God, such a witchy house. We are surrounded by nature, and there's a lot of magic here. So I'm learning how to work with my ancestors. My son has already recalled and restored to himself perfect psychic insight. And my God, he has been on fire. Like he told my landlady some stuff about her life that no one knew but her. And it's because he saw the pattern in this house. So, and when we start working with our ancestors, we're going to see more and more. So I'm looking into it still. When I feel like I got a good handle on it, we're going to go over it. Might not be this week, might be next week, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break. And when I come back, I'm going to read William Walker Atkinson's book, Lesson 4 in Practical Mind Reading, right after this message. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's high time you did. It is the absolute easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's absolutely free. Second of all, they have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. You guys have known that I've been doing this for 8 months using the Anchor.fm app right on my cell phone, and I have done it everywhere, right? I have recorded this in my living room, my bedroom, little cafes in Quito, Ecuador, all over Cuenca. It's so absolutely easy to make your podcast, and editing is just a snap. Anchor also will distribute your podcast for you, and it took me about 2.5 months to become syndicated, and now I'm available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more, and so can you. You can make money from your podcast also, and there's no minimum requirement. You get paid from your very first listener. It is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. So please, if you are interested in making a podcast of your very own, do not hesitate to start with Anchor. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. All right, I don't know if you're going to hear the dogs growling. The wolf dogs growling. They were a minute ago again. The neighbors are out there talking, so you might be able to hear my neighbors. But you guys, we've been sitting here in the afternoon. No one's outside. And we open up our front door, and the sunshine is streaming in our windows and our door. The dogs just come in, flop underneath the table like we're their owners, right? Or maybe more like they're our owners, I guess. But it's just a whole different world over here. We're so happy. I hope you could tell. I hope my energy has gone a little bit up. I feel a lot better being here. And I was feeling pretty good. Like I was in 5D over in the other place. And even with the negativity going on, it was just like, yeah, I feel really good. But I got here, guys, and it's just a whole nother level of peace. And I hope it's coming across in the show. I hope you can tell. Anyway, I'm gonna have to use my tablet. So once again, I'm locating where we need to be. Gotta look through Chrome and figure this out. I have it all queued up. Okay. So this book, I believe, was written in 1907. I might be wrong on that. I haven't read from it in 2 weeks, but this is written by William Walker Atkinson. He actually put his name on this one. Now, in the past, as you know, he has been putting his name as Swami Panchadasi when he started, because he was a business owner and a lawyer in New York, I believe. And he just didn't want anyone to know his identity. But he was one of the original people that started the New Thought movement. So it's very, very fascinating. And I did also find a book I do want to get into about karma and reincarnation. I thought you guys might find that very interesting. So that might be the next book we read. It might be from him. Maybe I'll find another author that will hop in between the Atkinson books. But I mean, I hope you're learning as much as I am. I'm learning a lot from his books. So anyway, without further ado, we're going to get into practical mind reading. And we are on lesson 4 is where we left it. So, development exercises. The student should practice privately with the assistance of a few friends before he ventures before a parlor audience. For by so doing, he overcomes the first lack of confidence in himself and the awkwardness natural to the beginner along any new line of work. I love when things in the second half just so line up with hilarious stories in the first half of the show. Ooh. My son and his guitar comes to mind. Awkwardness natural to the beginner along any new line of work. Boy, that sure is the case. By careful and repeated practice, he gains confidence in himself by reason of his growing success in his experiments, and besides wears off the rough edges of his actions, etc., so that when he finally appears before an audience, he will feel perfectly self-possessed and at ease, and thus be able to devote his entire attention to his work without annoying self-consciousness and awkwardness. Yeah, that is annoying. I don't like those feelings at all either. Begin the development exercises by selecting one or more friends who are in sympathy with you and who are interested in the subject. Now, do not have any unsympathetic or uncongenial persons. That means not nice. Do not have any unsympathetic or uncongenial persons around when you are practicing, for such people tend to distract your attention from your work and really exert a detrimental effect upon the preliminary work. Select one of your friends as the transmitter and take the part of the receiver yourself. That's good advice. Okay. Begin your practice by establishing a psychic harmony or rapport between yourself and your transmitter by means of rhythmic breathing. Although this feature of the work has been overlooked by many investigators of the subject, still it is a very important feature of the work and one that is conducive in the production of the very best results along these lines of psychic demonstrations. Well, that's really good advice. I never have heard of that, so only for other things. I guess for meditation, it's breathing and paying attention to the breath. I think that would be, being mindful of your breath. That seems like that's what I do, right? Every time I do channeling for you guys, it seems like I'm always breathing first, and that's kind of a rhythmic breathing, and then I start, right? That's how I get in tune. All right, so now that I think about it, yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. Okay. The term rapport, R-A-P-P-O-R-T, rapport, is one frequently met with in occult and psychic books. The word is defined by Webster as relation, conformity, correspondence, sympathetic accord. It is used by occultists in the sense of having harmonious vibrations with another. The occult teachings being that every person has his or her own rate of mental vibration, which, when in harmonious accord with the vibrations of another, induces the most favorable conditions for the production of mental or psychic phenomena or mental relations, sympathetic understanding, etc. This harmonious vibration does not necessarily mean that the two persons must be attuned to precisely the same key, but that their key notes must harmonize instead of producing discord. Which is why you don't want to, obviously, it's why you don't want an uncongenial person. Like somebody who doesn't believe in psychic ability, sitting there with their arms crossed and their foot just angrily tapping on the ground, for example. That would not be in harmony with you. So, okay. The comparison of the notes of the musical scale will illustrate the principle thoroughly. When two persons are in rapport with each other, there is a mental and psychic harmony between them, which is productive of the best possible mental cooperative work. Hence, the necessity of good rapport conditions in mind reading. Rhythmic breathing has been known to occultists of all ages as one of the important adjuncts of psychic phenomena, and its use in bringing about rapport relations is thoroughly understood by all practical occultists. Rhythmic breathing consists in the person breathing in slow, measured, regular rhythm. It may be acquired by counting the indrawn breath, the retained breath, and the outgoing breath, by regular beats like the ticking of a large clock. For instance, drawing your breath slowly, counting mentally according to the ticking of an imaginary clock. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then hold the breath, counting 1, 2. Then breathe out slowly, 1, 2, 3, 4. The rule is that the indrawn breath should have the same number of counts as the outgoing breath, the held breath taking up but 1/2 of the counts of either of the others. So if you want to breathe in on the count of 6, hold for 3, breathe out on the count of 6, hold that out for 3. Or you could do 4-2, 4-2, 6-3, 6-3, depending on your lung capacity and what you're more compatible with, right? If you're asthmatic and it's really bad, maybe it's 2 and 1, right? Do what's right for you, what feels correct for you. The rule is that the indrawn breath should have the same number of counts as the outgoing breath, and the held breath takes up but 1/2 of the counts of either of the others, which we already read. Sorry about that. The above count illustrates this matter. The advanced occultists get their time beat from the pulse beats, but this is not absolutely necessary in this connection. Oh my God, you guys, there's this weird bird outside. Maybe you'll get to hear it. It's making a sound like you make with your tongue, like that. It's like, and it almost sounds like those old-fashioned wooden blocks that I remember playing with in kindergarten. Beating the blocks together made a very, very, very specific sound. If you hear this sound in the background, it's literally a weird night bird that comes out at dusk. The sun is just going down right now. And when this bird comes out, it's hysterical. It's like, what is this? It wasn't in the other place. So I did see some yellow parrots over here, but I haven't seen the green ones that I had at the other place. I'm just getting to know the animals here, but I just heard it. So if you hear it, now you guys know what you're hearing. It's so weird. Okay. Moving right along with the actual book. Okay. Where were we? All right. I might have to repeat this because I don't know exactly where we were. The principal point about rhythmic breathing is that we wish to impress upon you is that the two persons, the transmitter and the receiver, should breathe in unison with each other. That is, in perfect time and rhythm. This breathing in unison will soon establish the very best possible rapport conditions between them. From 4 to 7 rhythmic breaths, that's like a whole round of in and out is one, right? From 4 to 7 rhythmic breaths will be sufficient to establish the proper conditions in ordinary cases. In the performance of a test, in case you should feel the power of the transmitter failing, you should stop and ask him to breathe in unison with you for a moment, and then you restart your work. By breathing a little loud, the other person will catch your time, so that it is not necessary for you to instruct him in the science or theory of rhythmic breathing. That's like pretty easy, right? Simply tell him to breathe in unison and keeping time with you. So you just kind of go, all right, breathe in unison with me, and then you just... and then they'll catch what you're doing, and then bada boom, bada bing, you're in rapport, I guess, right? So begin all your practicing with this rapport breathing and start each demonstration with it also. You will find that it will have a very soothing, calming, quieting effect upon both persons, and will produce in each a mental earnestness and concentration that will help along the demonstration of mind reading. We shall not mention this rhythmic breathing or rapport condition when we proceed to give you the detailed direction for the demonstration. But you must remember that it should be observed in each case. Of course, you will be able to get results without it, but not so easily or so thoroughly and satisfying. It is well to conclude your practice by taking a few deep breaths by yourself and not in unison with the transmitter. This destroys the rapport condition. Oh, I see. So basically at the end, once you're finished with the demonstration and you breathe separately from the other person, then you'll break the rapport with them, so you're not constantly in unison or connected with them, because, then you might end up intruding in each other's mental space. So there we go. General directions. So here we go. Woo! We're going to get into it now. Telepathy. Okay. general directions. The prime requisite for a successful demonstration of mind reading is the acquirement or possession by the transmitter of a clear idea of direction in his mind. The associated requisite is that the transmitter be able to concentrate his will upon the mind of the receiver, impressing upon him the sense of direction so strongly that he will move in accordance with the will of the transmitter. Remember the 2 points to be observed by the transmitter. Begin by having the transmitter standing beside you in the center of the room, you being blindfolded. Have him mentally select some one corner of the room, saying nothing to you of his choice. Then let him concentrate his mind upon that one corner, forgetting every other part of the room. Then have the transmitter grasp your left hand with his right hand, you grasping his fingers in your hand and lifting the hand to your forehead. Hold the hand against your forehead, just above your eyes. Instruct him then to will that you go to the corner of the room that he has selected, shutting out all other thoughts from his mind and concentrating his entire attention upon the projection of his will. He must not content himself merely forming a mental picture of the selected corner, but must think of the direction of that corner, just as he would in case he were to wish to walk there himself. He must not simply think that corner. He must think there, using the sense of direction. He must will that you shall go there, carrying the words "go there" in his mind. You, the receiver, must place yourself in a perfectly passive and receptive state of mind, resigning your own will for the time being and being perfectly willing and desirous of being mentally directed or led by the will of the transmitter. He is the active factor. You are the passive. It is the strength of his will and the degree of your receptivity that makes the demonstration a success. Keep your eyes closed, even though you be blindfolded, for by doing so, you induce a passive state of mind, and even the stray glimpses that you may catch through the handkerchief will serve only to distract you. You must shut out sights and even thought of sights. Stand quiet a moment or two, awaiting impressions from the mind of the transmitter, who is making the mental command, go there, I say, while at the same time he is willing that you follow his command. And willing is underlined. They mean like willing, like he's forcing his will into it. After a moment or two of passive and receptive waiting, you will begin to feel an impulse to move forward. Obey this impulse and take the first step, which will often be in an entirely opposite direction from the selected corner. The idea of this first step is to get started. While you are taking the first step or two, you will feel a clearer impulse toward the real selected corner, and you will find yourself swinging around to it. Do not grow impatient, for you are but learning to receive the impressions. Advance 1 foot forward, hesitatingly, resting your weight on the ball of the other foot, and you will soon feel yourself being compelled to move in a certain direction, which will end in your moving toward the right corner. You will soon become conscious of being directed by the will of the projector, whose mind is acting upon yours and leading and directing you toward the right place. It is difficult to describe to you the exact feeling that you will experience, but a little practice will soon make it clear to you. Follow the impulse and you will soon begin to feel the mental command. This way, this way. No, not that way, but this way. Until you will reach the desired spot when you will feel the command. That's right. Stop where you are. This is the place. Now remember, all this is mental. It's mental telepathy, practical mind reading. And this is how you do it. This is how you start. So when the person's projecting to you, make sure they don't say anything out loud, by the way. This is all mental projections, mental willing that you can follow the command. So when you feel the command, that's right, stop where you are, this is the place. If you start to wander off in the wrong direction, you will begin to feel the correcting impression of this way, I tell you. And if you will but passively receive and follow the mental telegraph message, you will find the impulse growing stronger and stronger until you walk right into the corner selected, when you will feel that you have reached base, as the children say in their games. Or, well, now we say home base, right? When you walk in the right direction, you will feel the mental message, right you are. And when you move in the wrong direction, you will feel the mental message saying, no, not that way, this way. I say, come along, come. By practice, you will soon become quite sensitive to these guiding thought waves and will act upon them almost automatically. Practice will soon so sharpen your perceptive faculties that you will often be able to move right off to the desired corner at once, sometimes actually running right to it, dragging the transmitter after you. You will soon begin to notice that there's quite a difference in the power of concentration on the part of different people acting as a transmitter. Some will be able to concentrate so forcibly that they will send you the message clear and sharp, while others will send only a feeble, wavering message. The more concentration the transmitter has, the stronger will be the message. It will be very advisable for you to experiment with a number of persons acting as a transmitter so that you may become familiar with the different degrees of concentration, personal characteristics of people in transmitting, etc. This will aid you when you begin your parlor performances. Oh my God, you guys. A, who has a parlor? Do you know a part of your house to be the parlor? Is that the living room? Okay. B, do you think you would want to do this? Like having like parties, like psychic parties? I think it'd be kind of fun. Very interesting, right? Now, when you find a lazy transmitter who is sending only feeble messages, you must remonstrate with him, telling him that he must exercise his willpower more. This plan will often arouse in them a desire to give a good exhibition of their willpower, and they will begin sending you strong mental impulses. It is a good plan when you have an unsatisfactory projector to extend his arm out its full length and hold it up about the height of your eyes. In this way, he feels the strain and it arouses his will in order to hold it there, which seems to act in the direction of his sending sharper and clearer messages and impulse. In case the transmitter proves very unsatisfactory, substitute another for him. And you're no good. Charlie, get over here. Oh, it's kind of funny. But as a rule, this unsatisfactoriness arises from the fact that he does not fully understand his duties, does not know what is required of him. A little practice and instruction will bring him out all right. It is often advisable to let the transmitter read this book of instructions if he happens to be a personal friend who's helping you out in your practicing and your experiments. The transmitter will find that by looking toward the selected corner, he will be aided in concentrating his attention, and directing his willpower. Practice this exercise and experiment in different rooms and with different transmitters until you can go readily to the selected corner. Don't be discouraged, but remember that practice makes perfect, and that, like any other thing, the art must be learned by patient practice and repetition. It is like learning to play the violin, skating, dancing, or anything else. If after a number of trials you begin to feel tired, stop practicing and adjourn the experiments until the next day. Do not unduly strain yourself or tire out your mind. When the next day comes, you will. You will be surprised at the added proficiency you have gained. Can you guys imagine doing this with your roommates? This would be super fun. If you have little kids, it'd be fun to practice with them, help them to develop their mental reading, their telepathy abilities. But also this would be fun just to hang out with your roommates, especially during the quarantine. Interesting. If you have people in the house with you, it'd be very good to do that. Okay, so on with the book. They say, you may vary the above method by holding the transmitter's hand out at arm's length instead of holding it up to your head. Some find one plan more effective and others prefer the second. The principle is the same in both cases, so adopt either plan or any variation thereof, providing that it proves effective. Practice exercise 1, finding locations. After you've grown proficient in locating the corners of rooms, you may have the transmitter select other parts of the room, such as door, mantle, window, alcove, projections, etc. Projections? I don't know what he means by that. Maybe like a projector? Is that common to have just laying around your living room? Maybe. Try a number of these selected locations in turn, gaining a variety of experiences, which will prove valuable later on. In all of these experiments, the transmitter must guard you from running into obstacles and furniture, etc., by telling you to avoid them, guiding you past them, and in other proper ways prevent you from bruising yourself or breaking or upsetting things. Obvio. Claro que obvio. Of course, it's so obvious. You must impress this upon his mind, and then you should give yourself into his care with the utmost confidence, giving yourself no further concern about these things and keeping your mind as passive as possible. Don't allow your mind to be distracted by outside things. Just attend to the matter of the experiment in which you are engaged. Practice exercise 2, finding large objects. All right, I'm just checking and making sure. Okay, good. It does say recording in progress. Woo, thank God. Okay. It's still going. Practice exercise 2, finding large objects. The next step should be the selecting and finding of large objects in the room, such as chairs, tables, etc. Proceed as in the previous exercises. Do not neglect this exercise in your desire to do more wonderful things, for you need just this training. You will realize the importance of these exercises after you begin to appear before friends and evening companies, etc., when you will be called upon to find hidden objects, selected articles secreted under tables, on persons, on furniture, etc. If you can find selected chairs, you will be able to more readily find persons seated on chairs. Continue this exercise until you can readily find any and every piece of furniture in a room and other large objects in a room as well when they are thought of by the transmitter. Practice exercise 3, finding small objects. Yay, now we're getting into it, right? After mastering the above exercise, having the transmitter select some small articles, such as a book, a vase, an ornament, etc., on a table, mantelpiece, etc., proceed as before, varying the objects and the places, endeavoring to get as wide a range of experiences as possible along the line of mind reading of this kind. Practical exercise 4. Wow, he's really giving a lot of it now, right? Finding hidden articles. After you have mastered the last mentioned exercise, have the transmitter select a small object such as a watch key, a match safe, etc., and secrete it in some I think he means secret it, but it says it with an E at the end. Ew, don't be secreting anything, guys. Yuck. Yuck. Okay, secret it in some part of the room, you remaining out of the room until the article is selected and hidden. Proceed as before, of course with the blindfold, until you find the secreted object. Your transmitter should endeavor to give you a great variety in this exercise in order to properly train you for the public demonstrations before companies, etc. Have him place a key in a book, under a rug, back of a picture, and in similar difficult places. Let him exercise his ingenuity in finding strange places in which to hide the object. In the experiments in finding the hidden objects, he must train himself to give you the mental messages up, down, to the right, to the left, to the left, to the left, etc., just as he did his old message or impulse of this way, and you must train yourself to receive them. This training will be of the greatest possible benefit to you when you are called upon later to find objects hidden in people's pockets, etc. Does that sound legit to you? What? Finding objects in people's pockets? Ooh. Are those your keys? Are you happy to see me? I did not just say that, so moving right along. General remarks on practice. The above exercises will train the student to receive and act upon the mental commands or messages of the transmitter under a great variety of circumstances and conditions. Many of the most successful public mind readers started out in public work with far less careful and thorough training, but there are now still greater degrees of proficiency possible. The student will find in succeeding chapters a number of interesting, startling feats and experiments which are intended for parlor audiences, etc., but which may most profitably be practiced previously with the aid of a good friendly transmitter excuse me, in order that the performer may familiarize himself with the details of the experiment and thus be more at his ease when he demonstrates it in public. Then other new experiments and feats will suggest themselves from time to time to the intelligent student, which likewise should be practiced previous to a public demonstration, obviously. In finding a hidden object, the first thing to do is to get an idea of the direction. All right, that makes sense, right? Okay, direction. Then the general location of a hiding place, and so on, from general impressions to detailed ones, until at last the fingers close upon the object itself. The transmitter will be greatly relieved when the object is finally found, and the relaxing of his mental tension may be distinctly felt. And then you will know that your search is at an end. Oh my God, can you imagine? This would be fun at parties. All right. I'm just giving you guys really good ideas for new parties, right? All right, here we go let's see where we're at. How many more minutes do we have? All right, 34 minutes in. We still got time. Okay. Preparing for public work. Before taking your show on the road, okay, it doesn't say that, but before taking you on with the work before an audience, we must urge upon you to prepare yourself thoroughly by means of the above-mentioned exercises. The great tendency among students is to hurry through to the public work and skipping the exercises as much as possible. This is all wrong. You will never be a thoroughly good demonstrator of anything in life until you master the rudiments, and by practice, familiarize yourself thoroughly with the details of the work, and mind reading is no exception. It is true that after a few exercises, you may be able to give a fair demonstration before an audience, but you'll never get farther than fair without careful practice. And therefore, we urge you to have patience and perseverance and to stick to the exercise until you become a master of mind reading. When you need fear no audience whatsoever. And we will be able to give a demonstration that will be a great credit to both yourself and to us, your instructors. And now for your work before an audience, remembering always that the feats and experiments that we shall mention should be practiced by you privately with the aid of a friendly transmitter before you reproduce them in public. In the case of feats in which the audience is a party to the experiment, such as the finding of a scarf pin on a member of the audience, you may practice with a dummy audience, that is, with an imaginary audience consisting of chairs, etc., till you familiarize yourself with the details of the feat. All right, well, let's see. The next one is lesson 5. We'll go over that next Monday. Now, what I was thinking about this, though, is if you are like in a room and you're blindfolded and you have a transmitter transmitting there, over there, to the right, to the left, whatever. The rest of the audience, if they already know what the object is and where it's located, they're all going to help you because you're going to hear the voices all go, over there, the woman with the pink hat or whatever, and you're going to just go gravitate towards that, right? But of course, you'll be blindfolded, but everyone's going to be rooting for you. You'll have 3 or 4 jerks that are going to be rooting against you because, there's always bad apple in every crowd. But I have a feeling that it's going to be such that you're going to feel it, you're going to be bombarded by where the object is more than just from the transmitter. Even though you're just trying to hone in on the transmitter, I have a feeling that the rest of the audience will help you. So there you have it. Practical mind reading, lesson 4. We have 3 more weeks of this book, and then we will do a different book on Mondays after that. But there you go. I hope you guys missed me because I really missed you. I'm glad to be back after taking my week off to try to get things going in our new house. We're getting there. I could still take another 2 months and maybe just be finally freshly moved in. We're still bleaching down everything from the mold from the other place just to see. Most of the stuff doesn't have active mold on it, but it has spores in it. That's what we're worried about. We don't want to cross-contaminate the 2 molds from the 2 places. So we're still working on that. But I do plan on bringing you all unique and original programming every day, in spite of what I'm going through behind the scenes. So tomorrow I will be back with all unique and original programming, just like always. And I don't even know what the topic is tomorrow. We might just do channeling for tomorrow. Not sure quite yet, but we shall see. That's it. I hope that you guys enjoyed it and you're glad I'm back. I'm sure I'm glad to be back for certain. And I wanted to remind you for July 1st to mark it on your calendars. You don't need to know what to do or where to go yet, but I am up for a People's Choice Podcast Award, and I will be giving you the details probably the end of June on through every day in July. But just mark your calendars if you believe I deserve an award for my hard work on Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast. And let's see, what else? If you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm mermaidgirl888, because I haven't been able to get my other one up and running yet, but I will in time get it up there. I haven't added anything in 2 weeks, but I've got some interesting posts that you might want to go through if you haven't already. I don't know, metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com is my email, but I don't have access to it when I'm only on my tablet, unfortunately. If you've written me recently, just hang in there. I will get to, eventually, I will get back to. It's been absolutely hectic for months with the quarantine and then all the other stuff with the move and other things going on behind the scenes, like my bank card just absolutely falling to the wayside and being somewhere here in the city and not sent back to my bank, and then having to get a secondary card sent out, and all kinds of weird stuff going on. But it feels like, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back sometimes, and then sometimes it's 3 steps forward and only 2 steps back, which is still a little progress. So we are getting there little by little. So anyway, that's it. I will be back tomorrow, and I love you guys. Thank you for your faith and continued confidence in me and my show. Thank you for your questions. A man named Rich, who is from Turkey, lives in Persia. He's a brand new listener of the show. I don't even know if he'll listen to this one. I told him to go back and listen to the narcissist and empathic episodes on boundaries, because he was asking some questions. I'm like, I think these will answer your questions. They'll help you, because he's an empath like me, and like many of you listening, we just give, and we give excuses in our giving to people who don't deserve our excuses, but in fact deserve us to maybe not have them in our lives, right? We deserve to have quiet and peace, and we invite the narcissist in, and then we give excuses for their behavior. And I was teaching him about that today. But so I have a lot of new listeners, so I wanted to say thank you to you guys, and I love each and every one of you. I love all of you, all of you, and that's it. Thank you. Should keep trying to work up opening all your chakras, including 8th through 12th chakra, not just the 7 in your body, but the 5 outside of your body, and that includes loving everybody on earth. And that's why I tell you that I love you, because I do love everybody on earth. That's how you open the 11th chakra. It's a key. Anyway, that's it for now. I'll be seeing you, or speaking with you soon. But right now, I'm signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the holy 5th dimension. Until next time, guys, peace. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.